Welcome to Pod Studio, level up your fluency from trending topics. Today we are going to talk about using AI right now. A quick guide.
Most people using AI are probably missing out on like 80% of its actual power. It sounds weird, but they're often just using it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about AI, right? Promises to make you smarter, faster, more efficient. But honestly, it often feels more like a total maze. We're all searching for that shortcut, that way to be truly well-informed. But sometimes these tools just seem to add another layer of confusion. Well, today on the Deep Dive, we're aiming to cut through all that noise. We're tackling the exciting, sometimes, bewildering world of AI, and we're using insights from Ethan Mollick's guide, Using AI Right Now. A quick guide. It's got some genuinely transformative ideas packed in there.
Absolutely. And our mission here today, it isn't just to list off which AI tools you should maybe try. It's really about showing you how to, effectively navigate these systems. They're getting more sophisticated all the time. We want to help turn that initial confusion you might feel into, real clarity to help you unlock these surprising, often hidden capabilities and actually get real work done.
Okay, so get ready. We've got a clear structure lined up, some genuinely surprising facts coming your way, and most importantly, actionable advice. The goal: to turn you from someone just curious about AI into a real AI power user. Let's dig deeper. All right, so we're ready to go beyond the basics. But that first step, it can feel like a maze itself, right? Choosing your AI, new options seem to pop up constantly. How do you confidently pick the right powerhouse for, your workflow?
Yeah, it definitely can feel overwhelming, but our sources, like Mollick's guide, they narrow it down quite a bit for serious users. For most people who really want to use AI effectively right now, you probably just need to pick one of three main systems. You've got Claude from Anthropic, Google's Gemini, and OpenAI's ChatGPT. Those are really the main contenders for a general purpose, powerful AI today.
Okay, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT.
Right.
What makes these three the top dogs if you commit to one? What kind of features are you actually getting?
Well, their real strength is in just how comprehensive they are. You get access to both their most advanced models and their faster ones, for different tasks. Plus, there's usually a pretty natural voice mode, the ability for the AI to see and process images, documents, things like that. Powerful code execution, too. And good mobile apps, which is handy. And crucially, they all offer something called deep research capabilities. We'll definitely dive into that later. Oh, and ChatGPT and Gemini, they can also create images and video. Claude doesn't do video yet, though.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of power. What's the investment here? Is this all free, or are we talking about a monthly subscription?
Right. So while you can use some features for free, it's probably best to think of those free versions more like a demo, not really the full capable tool. If you want the full capabilities and really want to leverage these systems properly, you should probably expect to pay around, say, $20 a month. Think of it like subscribing to any other key productivity tool you use. It's often worth it for the power you unlock.
So are there any other options worth considering? Or should we really, for reliability's sake, just stick with those main three?
For most general users, sticking with Claude, Gemini, or ChatGPT is almost certainly the most reliable way to go. But yeah, there are other options out there, like Grok from Elon Musk's XAI. It could be handy if you're a really heavy X user, maybe. But there are some transparency questions around how it works. Microsoft's Copilot is another one. Great integration with Windows, obviously. But sometimes it's a bit tricky to control exactly which AI model you're actually using behind the scenes. And there's also DeepSeek R1. It's a pretty capable Chinese model, and it's free, which is interesting. But it seems to be missing some features, and, long-term consistency might be a question mark. So, yeah. For broad usefulness and just dependable performance, the big three, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, they really are your best bet right now.
Okay, this next point feels really important. And it sounds like it's where a lot of users, maybe without even realizing it, are limiting what their AI can do. You've picked your system, say ChatGPT, but you're not just talking to one single AI brain inside there, are you?
Exactly. No, that's a critical distinction. And it's definitely where many users don't quite maximize their AI experience. Don't think of it as just one AI. Think of it more like a suite of specialized models within that one system. Each one is kind of engineered for different performance levels, different kinds of tasks.
Okay, so tell us more about these different levels, these different brains. What do they offer? And maybe more importantly, when should you be using which one?
Right, so typically you see about three tiers. First, you've got the fast models. Think of things like Claude Sonnet or GPT-4o. These are like your quick-witted, everyday assistants. Great for brainstorming, maybe answering quick questions. They're often the default setting, actually, because they save on computing power for the company. Then you have the powerful models. These are your real workhorses. For the serious stuff, the high-stakes tasks, things like in-depth analysis, writing something comprehensive, detailed research, or maybe complex coding. We're talking about models like Claude Opus or maybe GPT-4 or Gemini Pro. And the key takeaway here, honestly, you often need to manually switch to these more powerful models when you're doing something important. Don't just stick with the default. And then sometimes, for the really, really tough, complex problems, there might even be an ultra-powerful model. Like the source mentions one called an O3 Pro. These might take, 20 minutes or even longer just to process one request. Super heavy duty.
Okay. So lots of users might just think AI is AI, right? If they're not seeing these options to switch between fast and powerful models, is that just like a glitch in the interface? Or is it something more fundamental they're missing?
It's almost certainly because you're using a free version,
Yeah.
the free tiers of these systems. They typically don't give you access to the most powerful models. You're generally limited to the faster, maybe more casual ones. And that's really why we keep mentioning that that $20 a month investment, if you seriously want to be an AI power user, it unlocks those better engines.
Okay, that makes sense. That's how you optimize the AI for your work.
Right.
But what about the AI optimizing itself from your work? Let's switch gears to something absolutely critical. Privacy. Are these AIs learning from my data, my conversations?
Yes. A hugely important consideration for everyone, and answer varies a bit. Claude, from Anthropic, they explicitly state that they do not train their future AI models on your data, so that's quite clear. Gemini and ChatGPT, however, might use your data for training, especially if you're not using like a specific corporate or educational version, which means, your conversations could potentially shape future AI responses for other users. And this really underlines a crucial point. You should probably never share truly confidential or highly sensitive personal data unless you've explicitly checked your settings, you know they prevent training, and you're really comfortable with that platform's security practices. The good news, though, is you can usually take control. For ChatGPT, for instance, you can pretty easily turn off the training features in the settings, and it doesn't really seem to hurt the functionality much. For Gemini, you can also turn it off, but the source suggests it might come at the cost of losing some other features. So a bit of a trade-off there. Oh, and ChatGPT also has this memory feature. It's meant to personalize things by remembering details about you across different chats. But the source we looked at describes it as currently being too erratic to be consistently useful just yet. Maybe something to keep an eye on, though.
Okay, good to know you have some control there. So we've picked our system, we know, to select the right model for the task. Now, what about those really surprising, impactful features, the ones we might be overlooking? The capabilities that really make these tools more than just a fancy search engine.
Yeah, absolutely. Two features really stand out as being, I think, profoundly useful, even if people don't realize their full potential right away. Those are deep research and voice mode, especially its multimodal capabilities, seeing things. These are genuine game changers.
Okay, let's start with deep research. What exactly is that, and why should you maybe incorporate it into your workflow, like right now?
So deep research tools, they basically empower the AI to actively scour the web, synthesize information from multiple sources, and then produce these highly detailed reports, often with citations too. The key thing is they're often far more accurate and comprehensive than just asking the AI a simple question off the top of its head. And a really important point from the source. The citations provided in these reports, they actually tend to be correct now, which, wasn't always the case with earlier AI versions. This is about getting rigorous synthesized information, not just a quick web search result.
I can see that being useful. I've definitely gone down rabbit holes trying to research, say, unique gift ideas or plan a detailed trip. Can deep research really cut through that kind of noise? Maybe give us some concrete examples.
Oh, absolutely. Think about using it for really practical, detailed tasks. Like for gift guides, you could ask something specific like, what should I buy for a picky 11-year-old? She's read all of Harry Potter, she's into science museums, loves chess. Give me options, tell me where to buy them, maybe even find the best prices, super specific. Or for travel guides, maybe I'm going to Wisconsin on vacation. I want to visit unique sites, especially anything related to cheese. Can you produce a detailed guide for me?
Yeah.
And this one's interesting for getting second opinions. In complex fields like law or medicine, now, obviously, let's be super clear. You should always trust your actual doctor or lawyer above an AI. always. But research mentioned in the guide shows that some advanced AI systems actually perform surprisingly well in tasks like diagnosis, and with a lower hallucination rate than you might expect. So they can be genuinely useful for getting an additional informed perspective to discuss with your professional.
Wow, okay. That sounds incredibly powerful. But for something that critical, like a second opinion in law or medicine, how reliable is it, really? And just practically, how do you even turn on this research mode?
Right, so for reliability, it's about using it as an assistant, not a replacement. It synthesizes information well, but human expertise is still paramount. As for turning it on, well, in Claude and ChatGPT's advanced models like O3, just enabling the web search option often gets them to act like mini deep research tools. They'll go out and check things, pull in information, maybe not a full structured report every time, but much better than just guessing. Google Gemini sometimes has more explicit research functions, and it has some fun extra options too, like after creating a report, you might be able to turn it into an infographic or a quiz or even, well, a podcast script like this one. Pretty neat.
Okay, interesting. Now let's talk about the other feature you mentioned, voice mode. I use Siri, I talk to my car's navigation. Is this AI voice mode just a slightly smarter version of that, or is there something more going on?
Yeah, that's a really common perception, yeah. And look, Gemini and ChatGPT have excellent, very natural conversational voice modes. Claude's is apparently a bit weaker right now. They're great for, say, brainstorming out loud while you're on a walk or maybe dictating notes in the car. Super convenient for that. But couple of caveats. These voice modes, they're often optimized primarily for chat. They don't always give you access to the absolute most powerful analytical models running underneath. And they also don't seem to search the web as frequently or as deeply when you're just talking to them, which means they might be a bit more prone to hallucinating or making stuff up if you ask them complex factual questions in voice mode. So, great for conversation, maybe less reliable for hard facts on the fly.
Okay, so if the killer feature isn't just having a casual chat, what is it? What's the big thing about voice mode that most of us are probably missing?
It's the visual input, the ability to share your screen or, more importantly, your phone's camera feed with the AI. This is where it gets properly futuristic. Imagine pointing your phone at, I don't know, a broken appliance you're trying to fix, or a tricky math problem on your kid's homework, or a recipe you're trying to follow while your hands are covered in flour, or even just a sign in a foreign language you can't read. The AI literally sees what you're pointing at. It processes that visual information in real time and responds based on what it sees. The source mentions using it to identify plants during a hike, or troubleshoot an error message on a computer screen, or get cooking tips while actively cooking. This multimodal capability combining voice and vision, it's genuinely revolutionary. But yeah, most people just use voice mode like a slightly better Siri. They're missing the absolute best, most powerful part of it.
That is incredible, seeing what you see. Wow. Okay, so beyond research and this kind of interactive conversation, can these AIs actually create tangible things for us? Like, can they make images or even videos?
Oh, absolutely. The creative output side is huge and getting better incredibly fast. So for images, ChatGPT and Gemini will definitely make images for you if you ask. Claude, however, can't do that currently. ChatGPT probably offers the most controllable image creation tool right now, letting you refine things quite precisely. Gemini uses a couple of powerful systems, including Imagen, and it's also very good, maybe sometimes more creative, but less easy to steer precisely. So for control, maybe ChatGPT has the edge. Then there's video. This is newer but exploding. Gemini's system called VO3 is apparently very impressive, and you even get several free uses per day. You just have to remember to specifically hit the video button in the Gemini interface when you ask, but it goes way beyond just pictures and videos. Think about other outputs. All three systems, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, can produce a really wide variety of things. Structured documents like reports or plans. They can perform statistical analyses if you give them data. They can build interactive tools, simple simulations, even basic games sometimes. They're not just text generators anymore. They're becoming these versatile digital creation platforms.
So you're basically saying, just ask. I don't need to be some kind of coding expert or prompt wizard to get them to make, say, a chart or a simple program?
Pretty much. Well, almost. To reliably get Gemini or ChatGPT to actually run code or produce these kinds of separate structured outputs, you usually need to select an option often called Canvas in their interface. It's like a dedicated workspace for creation. Claude, interestingly, is often quite good at creating these sorts of outputs directly in the chat, so you might not need a special mode as often there. But yeah, the principle is clearly ask for what you want. You might be genuinely surprised at what these AI systems can actually build for you.
Okay, this leads to the big question I think a lot of people have. How do we actually talk to these AIs effectively? I see all these complicated prompt engineering guides online. Do you really need all that? What's the secret to getting good results?
Right. This is a great point, and maybe a surprising one for some listeners. The whole idea of complex prompt engineering, it's actually becoming less critical than it used to be, especially for the latest models. The good news is that these newer AIs, like GPT-4o or Claude 3 Opus, they're so advanced they can often figure out what you mean, even without you using perfectly crafted, elaborate prompts. A lot of those super specific tricks and magic words you see online, they were more important for older, less capable models now. Less so for most everyday users. Our research, the stuff Mollick talks about, even shows that things like being polite to the AI, it doesn't consistently make a big difference in the quality of the output overall. Maybe some edge cases with complex math or science, but generally, just be clear. So yeah, the best approach now is often just to be conversational. Talk to it like a knowledgeable colleague.
Wow, that's actually a huge relief. So less hunting for magic words and more just having a clear conversation. What are the core principles we should keep in mind then to get the best out of these tools?
Exactly. Focus on just a few key things. First, give the AI context. This is probably the most important one. Remember, most AI models by default only know some very basic user info and what's happened in your current chat session. They don't remember past conversations unless you use a specific feature like ChatGPT's memory, and they don't know your specific situation unless you tell them. So you need to provide that context. Upload relevant documents, PDFs, Word docs, give it images, share PowerPoints, or even just write a quick introductory paragraph about yourself or the project you're working on. Use that file upload option. While some AIs can be given permission to access your email or files, manually uploading the specific context you need is often safer and more reliable. Second, be really clear about what you want. Super clear. Don't just say something vague like, write me a marketing email. That's too open-ended. Instead, be specific. Okay, I'm launching a new B2B SaaS product. It's for small law firms. I need you to write a cold outreach email. Make sure it addresses their specific pain points around document management. Oh, and here are the key details about the product, then paste in the relevant info. You can even turn it around and ask the AI, what questions do you have for me to help you fulfill this request better? That can be really effective. Third, you can try giving it step-by-step directions. This is sometimes called chain of thought prompting. Now, the research suggests this doesn't improve the answer quality itself as much as it used to with the newer models. They're smarter now. But it can still be really useful for you because it makes it easier to follow the AI's reasoning and figure out why it gave you a particular answer. It shows its work, so to speak. Fourth, ask for a lot of things. Don't be shy. The AI doesn't get tired, it doesn't get bored, it doesn't resent doing extra work. So instead of asking for, say, 10 ideas, ask for 50. Instead of asking for one way to improve a sentence, ask for 30 different options. Generate abundance. Then you can pick the best ones and ask the AI to expand on just those. Push it. And finally, make use of branching to explore alternatives. This is super useful. Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, they all let you go back and edit a prompt you already submitted after you've seen the answer. When you edit a prompt, it creates a new branch in the conversation, kind of like version control. You can then navigate between these different branches using little arrows. It's an excellent way to experiment and see how small changes in your prompt affect the outcome without losing your original thread. Great for learning.
Those are fantastic, really practical strategies. Thanks. But let's be honest, AI isn't perfect, right? It makes mistakes. What are some common pitfalls or things we should definitely be aware of, like those hallucinations people talk about?
Right, hallucinations. That term basically means the AI confidently making stuff up, stating falsehoods as facts. The good news is they are generally less of a concern, less frequent than they used to be with earlier models. AI has genuinely improved a lot in factual accuracy. However, and this is a big, however, no matter how good the AI gets, it will still make errors, it will make mistakes, it will sometimes confidently give you completely wrong answers. That's just the nature of the technology right now. Oh, and they can also hallucinate about their own capabilities, like claiming they performed a complex analysis they didn't actually do, or saying they accessed a file they couldn't have. So skepticism is healthy.
Okay, so if mistakes and wrong answers are still possible, even likely sometimes, what does that mean for us, practically? How do we mitigate that risk when we're using AI for real work?
Well, a few things help. Answers are generally more likely to be correct if they come from those bigger, slower, more powerful models we talked about earlier, the ones you often have to pay for and manually select. And accuracy also tends to improve if the AI has performed web searches as part of generating the answer, because it's grounding itself in external information. But the inherent risk of hallucination, the chance of errors, is exactly why it's always recommended, especially when you're starting out, to primarily use AI for topics you already understand reasonably well. That way, you can spot the errors more easily. You need to develop a feel for its capabilities and limitations in your specific domain before you trust it implicitly on something unfamiliar.
And it's definitely not magic, is it? Like, it's not going to suddenly give us some miraculous insight that's beyond all human understanding.
Exactly right. It's not magic. The very best AIs today can perform at the level of a very smart, knowledgeable human on some specific tasks. That's amazing. But they cannot provide truly miraculous, superhuman insights. If an AI output seems genuinely impossible or claims something utterly groundbreaking that seems too good to be true, it's probably not actually doing that thing. It's more likely simulating or frankly hallucinating that it did. And similarly, AI can sometimes seem incredibly insightful about personal problems or emotional issues, but you should always, always take that kind of output with a huge grain of salt. It's pattern matching, not genuine empathy or wisdom. It's a tool, remember, not an oracle or a therapist.
So it really comes back to that idea of conversation, doesn't it? It's not about just typing in one prompt and getting a perfect answer. It's a back and forth process.
Absolutely. That is perhaps the single most important mindset shift. You want to engage the AI in a genuine interaction, a dialogue. Don't just ask for a single response and take it as final. Push back on the AI, question its assumptions, ask it to refine its answers, ask for alternatives. It thrives on that kind of interaction, and you get much better results.
Okay, makes sense. But what if I do find an error? Or I just want to understand why the AI did something specific. Can I ask it to explain its reasoning?
Asking why is tricky. The AI doesn't understand why it did something in the same conscious, reason-based way a human does. So asking it to explain its internal logic in those terms often won't get you very far. It might confabulate an explanation. However, if you find issues or just want to peek under the hood, look for something often called the thinking trace, or show work, or similar. Many models offer this. It's kind of like seeing the AI's internal scratch pad. It gives you a step-by-step summary of the process it went through before giving you the final answer. Now, this trace isn't always 100% accurate itself, but it's usually a really good place to start if you're trying to debug an issue or just understand the flow of its thought process. And, this whole discussion really highlights another crucial mindset shift. You shouldn't just use AI as a Q&A robot, like a fancy Google search. It can actually be your critical thinking partner, a sparring partner even.
Oh, that's a fascinating idea. So the real value isn't just getting answers from the AI. It's using the AI to stress test your own thinking, to make you more rigorous.
Precisely. Think about it like this. Give one of these powerful AI models a thesis you have. Maybe it's a business strategy, a scientific hypothesis, or even just a stock investment idea. Lay out your reasons for believing it. Then give the AI a specific persona. Tell it, okay, you are now a highly skeptical hedge fund portfolio manager, or you are a peer reviewer known for finding flaws. Then ask it, give me 10 distinct reasons that strongly support my case based on the information I provided and your general knowledge. And then give me 10 powerful reasons that challenge my case or highlight potential risks I haven't considered. What you'll get back are often new angles, potential risks you genuinely hadn't thought of, counter-arguments you need to prepare for. The conversation suddenly isn't about whether the AI is right or wrong. It's about using the AI to sharpen your own thoughts, to anticipate challenges, and ultimately to help you make more informed, robust decisions. That's a really profound use case that goes way beyond simple Q&A.
Okay, wow. This has been an absolutely incredible deep dive. So many actionable insights there. So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for us, for the listener? Where do you start right now if you want to become one of these AI power users we've been describing?
Right. Let's make it super concrete. Here's your challenge for, say, the next hour. A clear, actionable path to really starting to use AI like a power user. Step 1. You got to pick one of those 3 main systems, Claude, Gemini, or ChatGPT. And honestly, you probably need to resign yourself to paying that $20 a month or so. Just accept it, because remember, those free versions, they're essentially just demos. They're not the truly powerful tools you need for serious work. Step 2. Okay, once you've done that, immediately, like right after this, test 3 specific things. And critically, test them on real work. Stuff that's actually relevant to your life or your job. Don't just play with translating sentences. Use it for something that matters to you. So here are the 3 challenges. Challenge 1, powerful model and interactive refinement. Go into your chosen system, find the setting, and explicitly switch to its most powerful model, Opus, GPT-4 Pro, whatever it's called. Then give it a genuinely complex challenge from your actual job. Provide full context, upload a document, paste in details. Then engage with it. Have a back and forth discussion. Ask it for a specific output, maybe a draft document, a piece of code, a diagram outline. And then ask for changes, refine it. Push it until you get a result you're actually happy with, something genuinely useful. Challenge 2. Deep research exploration. Try out that deep research capability we talked about. Find a question where you really need comprehensive synthesized information. Maybe it's doing competitive analysis for your business. Maybe it's finding those hyper-specific gift ideas. Maybe it's doing a technical deep dive into a complex topic you need to understand better for work or a personal project. See what kind of report it generates. Challenge 3. Multimodal voice mode. Okay, experiment with voice mode, but do it while you're doing something else, cooking, walking, maybe during your commute. But crucially, don't just chat. Try using its screen sharing or, even better, its camera sharing feature. Point your phone at a real-world problem, an object, a confusing diagram, whatever. See how having the AI see what you see changes your ability to think through problems or get information in real time. That visual input is key.
That's a great practical set of challenges. So stepping back, what really separates a casual AI user from a power user? Is it just about mastering complex prompts, or is it something else?
Initially, it's not primarily about mastering super advanced prompting techniques. That stuff comes later, with experience. The real difference right now is simply knowing these more advanced features exist, knowing about the different models, knowing about deep research, knowing about multimodal voice, knowing about branching. It's understanding their potential and then actively choosing to use them on your real work with real context. It's about moving beyond using AI like a slightly better Google search bar, asking quick context list questions using the default settings. Instead, it's about giving it documents to analyze, asking it for exhaustive lists of options, deliberately using branching to explore different paths, experimenting with creating different kinds of outputs, and engaging in that back and forth refinement. It really boils down to engagement, context, and intentionality.
Phew. Okay, what an amazing journey through making AI truly work for you. We've really covered everything from just choosing your digital companion to really unlocking its most, futuristic capabilities.
Yes, absolutely. And I think if there's one key takeaway, it's that active engagement, really leaning in and just having the willingness to explore these powerful features. That can fundamentally transform how you approach information, how you solve problems. It's really about moving beyond just scratching the surface.
So final thoughts. What does this all mean for you, the listener, right now as you go about your week?
Well, maybe consider this. You now have access to these incredibly sophisticated tools. And they're not just answer machines. You're actually gaining a potential strategic partner, a partner that can expand your ideas, seriously challenge your assumptions, help you see perspectives or risks you might have completely overlooked on your own. So the question to leave you with is, how will you use this new kind of partnership this week? How will you leverage AI, not just for answers, but to actively sharpen your own thinking and elevate the quality of your work?
That is a fantastic thought to leave everyone with. We really can't wait to hear what you discover as you try out these techniques. Until next time, keep digging deeper.